My next guest was one of the big winners this past weekend at UFC Vegas 30, getting that split decision win over Justin James. It's Charles Rosa, Boston Strong, back here on the program. Charles, how's it going?
Man, great. Just flew in from Vegas a few late last night, like 3 a.m. So got a little bit of rest, man. And it's always good to wake up after after a victory. It's much better.
Yes, and do an interview with me, man. I appreciate it. I didn't know you had you were traveling and all that. You got in late, so I really appreciate it, man. Before we talk about the fight itself, which was awesome, what did you make of Justin? This news came out that he was betting on himself. Did that impact you at all? Because that's got to feel weird. Where I'm sure fans are probably rooting for him. They want to see him win the money, and I don't know if you caught. I'm sure you did catch wind of that before the fight.
Yeah, no, I definitely caught wind of it before the fight. That was what they were talking about a lot. I saw the thing on ESPN, them talking about it. The only thing I thought different, I think, I was like, for me, I was always told, because I always, I'm a big bettor. I love sports, I love hockey, I love betting on the sports and stuff like that. So whenever I go to Vegas, I always think, oh, maybe I should bet a bunch of money on myself. And I always thought of it. But then, one of my coaches, Mike Brown, said to me one time, he's like, Charlie, he goes, there's already enough on the line. There's already enough at stake. You don't need anything else on your mind and on your conscience thinking about, there's already enough at stake. What's another 20 grand when it's your whole life and your whole career on it? So an extra 20 grand is not going to affect how I fight. You know what I'm saying? I have everything on it. So, it'd be anything. It'd just be more of a distraction. So, yeah, when I found that out and he bet it, the only thing I did think, though, is I'm like, if I get him in, an arm bar or a knee bar or, a Kimura or, something or a choke, I think, he's more likely to, let it break than to tap. So, that was the only thing I thought. So I was, prepared to have to, put him to sleep or to break something if I had to. But it's what it was, it went to a, close, somehow it ended up being a split decision. I don't know how, but I thought I dominated the fight. I'm happy I got the win. That's what matters.
Yeah, what was the game plan heading in?
It was pretty much similar to that. I thought there was a couple opportunities that I think I could have submitted him in the fight. I had a full Darce choke locked on for the front headlock, and usually I'll roll through and go for the anaconda choke and I'll finish it. In training, that's what I do every time. But I started noticing when I went to lock up all the submissions, he was so sweaty and it just felt like everything was slipping off. So I didn't want to roll through and then lose and have him been on top of me when I knew I was winning the fight, maybe possibly lose a position or a round, which could have been costly. So, that kind of took away a little bit of my risk-taking as far as that, because, I really, knew I needed this win and stuff, when usually I just kind of, go for the finish for every second. But, it's a little bit more wiser and more of a veteran now. I got to make sure I get these wins.
I think most people watching felt like you did win the fight. How were you feeling going into the judges? Because you never know, right?
I thought I won for sure. I asked DC and I won that fight easily. I don't know about easily, but you won. So he's on this guy. But I just thought I won, for sure. I just, everyone at the end asked me if he rocked me, if he hurt me, or he put, and he hit me with a clean shot. But all I did is cover up. When someone hits you with a clean shot, you cover up, and then I was right there the whole time. I just knew I had to withstand the storm because I knew he was coming for the knockout. So I covered up maybe instead of answering, because I kind of knew I was winning. But, I thought I did really good. I thought I dominated. Had him in one position that I usually finish, too, is the crucifix. I had him in, the Gary Goodrich crucifix position. And he kept turning his head away, so I couldn't get the shots off. And I definitely didn't want to lose the position by the ref standing me up, because he was kind of saying, watch the back of the head, watch the back of the head. And it's funny, because I actually asked him in the locker room about that position, too. I'm like, hey, if I get him in this exact position, this crucifix, am I going to be able to, where can I hit him? Can you show me? And he's like, he's going to turn his head, so, as long as you're aiming, you'll be good, but don't hit him in the back of the head intentionally. I was like, okay. So, it kind of was brief, and I was like, okay, he won't really give me trash, but then, it is what it is. But I think that was a nice position that I had on him. I think I could have finished it if I had a little bit more confidence that I wouldn't get stood up from it,
Yeah, and the most important thing was getting the win, right? You didn't necessarily want to risk something and it not work out. Like you said, you was a little bit slippery, so you just want to make sure for good. Last thing on the fight, how did you celebrate after the win?
Oh, I went to the casino, so you know what I'm saying? I got my win bonus, fortunately for me, so I got the show and the win money. And I went to the casino and just stayed up. My little brothers, Lucas and Francis, Lucas is fighting now, but he flew up. Even though he didn't get to go to the fight, unfortunately, he still flew up, and he's always there to celebrate with me after, and his twin brother, Francis. they were at the fight, so we went out, with the coaches, and we got like a really nice Italian dinner at a nice place. I think the Bellagio called Lago is like an Italian restaurant. It was a good spot, so I got to finally get that Italian dinner in that I wanted. It cost me like $800, but it was whatever.
Did it really? What did you? Hold on a second here. What did you get that was $800?
Everything. I just ordered the whole menu like twice, But I got everybody's food and stuff, obviously, for taking care of me. So it was really special.
Oh, it was like a team dinner. I thought you spent $800 just on yourself. I was like, that's a lot of steak and champagne and whatever.
All done. Just got everything, chicken parm. We just got steaks. We got everything, and it was special, man. I just I got to see them, and then after. By like 4 a.m, I was by myself. Pretty much everyone was sleeping, and I was just, playing roulette. So
there you go, an all-nighter. That's great. We don't have any UFC this. Sorry,
the adrenaline keeps me pumping. Like every time I fight, I don't think I can remember the last time I fell asleep after a fight was. It's 24 hours minimum that I'm awake.
There you go. Yeah, it's crazy. We don't have a UFC this weekend, but obviously all the focus is on UFC 264. A couple of fights I wanted to ask you about. We've got that Sean O'Malley and Louis Smolka fight. The odds are crazy on that one. So O'Malley right now is minus 450 on FanDuel. Louis Smolka is plus 340. Understandable with the sense that, O'Malley's coming off a big win. He's ranked. How do you look at that fight? Who do you think gets it done with O'Malley and Louis Smolka?
I think the odds should not be that. I would say O'Malley definitely a favorite, but like maybe 2-1. But it's just like the one thing is, Smolka's Hawaiian, right?
Yeah.
And you don't see Hawaiians get knocked out very often. So that's what his specialty is. So I think if Smolka makes it like a tough fight and he walks forward, I think that he can make it a long night for him. But I think that he's pretty tall though, like O'Malley. So I think he'll be able to if he keeps him at the end of his punches, it'll be a long night for Smolka.
Co-main event is Stephen Thompson and Gilbert Burns. I know obviously you're at Sanford, so you're probably seeing Gilbert in there. But Stephen Thompson minus 142, Gilbert Burns plus 118. We know which side you're probably going to lean on this one, but how do you see the fight playing out? I was curious about that.
Man, this is like so cool because I don't know if you saw the post that they made, but this is like back to UFC 1 style. Even though it's not true, like it feels like karate versus jiu-jitsu. This is going to be kind of, we get like almost one of those throwback fights. So I'm really excited about it. I think. Obviously, if Steven can keep it on the feet, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for Burns. And if Burns gets it on the ground, I think it'll be an absolute nightmare for Stephen Thompson. So the only advantage I'd say Stephen Thompson is the fight starts in the feet, and every round starts in the feet. I believe it's 5 rounds. So
just 3. Believe it or not, it's a co-main event, so it's only 3 rounds.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that might play a factor, but he only gets 2 chances to stand up if he gets down. So that's always a factor. And something I take into consideration. Yep.
Okay, there you go. And then the main event, obviously, and I know you've trained with Dustin for years, Poirier at ATT. But right now, it's dead even. Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, minus 110 apiece on FanDuel. How do you think that one plays out?
Wow, man, I think Dustin gets it done again, man. I think he figured out the puzzle a little bit. I'm not sure Conor's the same exact guy, and I know Dustin is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dustin's always been a fighter, and he's always had that fire, and he's always training, and he's just always has it. Like, I've never seen him, like, slack up or lay off when he wins a big fight or loses or whatever. Like, he always comes back hungry if he ever loses. Conor, on the other hand, I see him more now, like, on yachts and stuff than in the gym. So, the last fighter I've seen that happen to is Anthony Pettis, and I'm a huge fan of Anthony Pettis back then, but I remember a long time ago, like, going to a fight and just seeing Anthony Pettis, like, decked out in, like, a white suit, like, just, like, smoothed up, and he had, like, a, hot girl with him, and I was like, man, there's no way his life can be as hard, like, he's training the same stuff. It was at a casino, too. Like, I just don't think there's no way that he has that same fire that he used to have. And I don't think Conor does. So, and I know Dustin does. So I'm taking Dustin, no doubt.
There you go. Back to you. When do you see yourself competing again? Do you sort of have an idea? I'm sure you want to enjoy the summer a bit.
Yeah, no, this is what I love to do. I love fighting, and I'm in shape. So, I got a couple little stitches here. I got like a couple butterfly stitches. So I'd say these come out in like a week. So maybe like 2 weeks. I'm ready to go again.
Yeah. Would you stay on standby for a short notice, or are you hoping for like a full camp type fight?
I think off a win. I'm always down for a short notice, but I like short notices coming off only if I would ever lose. You know what I mean? Like, I think now that when you get a win, the power is a little bit more in your court, unless it's a really good opportunity or a big name or a big fight that I really, really, really want. But I think it would be just kind of like, reckless. Like, I really want to put together that 3-fight win streak and get the ball rolling because, I get to have that yet. And I'm really trying to get that and, get that winning streak going in the UFC because you know how fast the momentum goes once you get the streak going. Like, you get, 2 wins in a row, you get maybe a third big win in Boston, and you're on a 3-fight winning streak, coming off like a first-round finish, man. That's right, and that's what happened to Calvin Kattar. He got Max Holloway. So, he was 1 fight away from a title shot, and it happened so quick. So, that's stuff that I look at, and I'm ready to go whenever the UFC asks, but I do want a good fight that makes sense for me.
Gotcha. So ideal world, if you did have a full camp, probably in the fall is what I'm guessing?
Yeah, there's rumors that they're going back to Boston, possibly October, so that would be ideal.
I mean, with a guy with a nickname Boston Strong, it's pretty much mandatory you got to be on that card, right?
So, you know what I'm saying? I'm your guy for that, and they know that. I got the most all-time wins there at the Garden, and we got to bring some. Definitely got to bring some love back to Boston because their sports are being tough right now. So let's
jeez, tough. It's been like what, like a little bit, like just under a year or something.
Yeah,
you guys have a lot of success.
Like I'm a spoiled brat, little kid.
Yeah, sports fan. Yeah.
When I started watching football was when Tom Brady came in for Drew Bledsoe. That's like the first Super Bowl I remember watching as a kid. So like think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I dealt with. And then the Boston Bruins obviously won a couple of the Red Sox.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that cup win. That's okay. It was the 10-year anniversry. I was like, oh my God, I got to relive this all over again.
Nobody in it. I started getting anxiety. So I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring that band into the Garden one day for sure.
There you go. Speaking of hockey, Tampa Bay and Montreal Tampa Bay, I think we all kind of expected. I mean, the Islanders had a great run, but Tampa's just so dominant. But Montreal, man, to their credit, Toronto, Winnipeg, and now Vegas, and they make it to the final. Who are you liking in that one? Because I think on paper, Tampa's the better team, but Montreal's, I think, had to overcome way more than Tampa has.
It's crazy because when I watched Montreal play when I was watching their games, and I hate Montreal.
I'm the same way, by the way. Just people think in Canada you're supposed to cheer for the Canadian team. It's not the case. I want Tampa to win.
Martel too, Hawani. I go at it with him like he's a huge Montreal Canadiens fan. I'm like, dude, like he always tells the story how I stole the Canadiens flag and like ran around, and it's because when Mark Savard scored the game-winning goal to beat them, and he's still mad at me about that, but it's. Yeah, like I'm not a Canadiens fan at all, but watching them play, like as a player, it's kind of like when a fighter you don't like has like a fight of the year contender fight. You're like, whoa, man, like I respect that guy now. Like watching them play, they're playing good, awesome hockey, so I really respect that, and I think they got something special, and I don't know why they keep being such underdogs. Like I guess it's just because of their talent and their team, but when you have a hot goalie like that and you're hot as a hockey team, like it's like a baseball team. Like if you get hot and the guys are hitting or the pitchers are throwing heat, like, dude, they could easily go all the way. I wouldn't be surprised. I think the series should be almost even betting. I think it's going to go to a Game 7. I really do.
We'll see. So who you picking? Who's your pick?
I'm taking the Lightning. I mean, Tampa Bay is like my second home team now because they got Brady and they got Gronk and
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's crazy. Are you gonna try and go, or maybe you can use some of that leverage, UFC leverage?
That's a good point, actually. Now that I'm actually here, like I'm actually gonna. Do you know when Game 1 is? And I'm sure
it's tonight. It's tonight. So tonight's probably too late, but maybe Game 2 you can see.
It's in Tampa.
It's in. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Quick, go get some scalper tickets. You'll probably be using half your win bonus to go pay for a ticket.
Right now. I ain't got nothing to do, man. I'm like, I had that adrenaline rush from the fight, and I'm like, I need more. Like it's like addicting, dude.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see what happens there.
I'm going to go to one. I think I'm actually going to go to a game. I'm going to try to go to one.
Okay, well, you got to let me know because I want to see photos if you do end up getting in. That would be pretty cool. But in the meantime, man, congrats again on the win. Looking forward to the next one. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just started working with a new CBD company, Canico, so I would definitely want to give them a shout-out, man. They've been really awesome helping me. Sponsor me through this fight. It was the first fight camp I did with them, and I couldn't be more grateful to have them on my team, and, definitely, shout out to Garden of Life and, Acupuncture Zen, Hoffman Chiropractic, all these guys, and definitely, guys, come check out Chucky'sFight.com, and it's a family charity. Watch my dad help knock out substance abuse, and, the family, and I appreciate you guys. Definitely tune in to the next one. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later. But thanks for your time, James. Appreciate you, man.